IELTS Listening, version 54299. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. Write all your answers in the listening question booklet. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1 on page 2 of your question booklet. Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between a man who is looking for a summer job as a fruit picker and a woman who owns a farm. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 3 on page 2. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Manor Farm, hello.
Hi there. I'd like to apply to do fruit picking this summer.
Oh, hello. I'm Mrs. Chandler. My husband and I own Manor Farm. Let me take some details. I'll just get a form to fill in. Hold on.
Sure.
Sorry. Right. Your name is...
It's Ben Miller.
The man's name is Ben Miller, so Ben Miller has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 3.
Manor Farm, hello.
Hi there. I'd like to apply to do fruit picking this summer.
Oh, hello. I'm Mrs. Chandler. My husband and I own Manor Farm. Let me take some details. I'll just get a form to fill in. Hold on.
Sure.
Sorry. Right. Your name is...
It's Ben Miller.
And where are you from?
I'm from the USA.
Fine. Can I ask your age?
I'm 20. You only take people over the age of 16, don't you?
Yes, that's right. Are you able to work in the UK?
Sorry?
I mean, do you have a visa?
Oh, yeah. I have a thing called a blue card. It's valid until November.
That's fine then. We'll need fruit pickers from the middle of June until the end of September. What's your availability?
When can I work? I'd like to do July, August, and September, and could do October if there's any work then.
Okay. Did you find out about us through our website?
That's right. It's much easier than going through an agency.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 4 to 10 on page 3. Now listen and answer questions 4 to 10.
I see you need most pickers in September for apples and pears, but the whole picking season can last about 16 weeks.
Well, yes, but it's a question of the weather. That determines how much fruit we grow, of course. That's why I can't give you exact picking dates now.
I see. Oh, well, no problem. Can you tell me what pickers earn?
Well, that depends on age. The rate is £4.50 an hour for the under 18s, but as you're over 18, it would rise to £5.60 an hour.
Uh-huh. Your website says that you don't provide accommodation for pickers, so I guess I should arrange that in advance.
Yes, there is no accommodation on the farm, but there is a campsite about 15 minutes away.
Is that walking distance? What do you think? No, maybe I should bring my bike to get around.
Yes, we always recommend that. Some pickers bring a car, but then find the roads rather narrow, and the bus is very infrequent. Do you have any questions?
I know that fruit picking is hard work, but is there anything special I need to bring with me?
Well, firstly, documentation is extremely important. We will need proof of age, so we'll expect to see your passport. Pickers without one won't be allowed to work.
Oh, even if their age is written on their driving license?
Sorry, a driving license isn't suitable.
Fair enough. I guess some lunch is provided for all the hungry fruit pickers.
I'm afraid not. You'll need to bring your own food for lunch and, more importantly, enough water to last a full day. It can get very hot, so drinking is vital.
Right, like back home. Okay, well, thanks for all the information. What happens now?
Well, I'll post a contract to you at the...
That is the end of Section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to Section 2 on page 4. Section 2. You will hear the manager of a new sports center talking to potential customers about the facilities there. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16 on page 4. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good evening and welcome to Carrara's brand new Sports and Leisure Centre. First, I'll tell you about our facilities, then feel free to wander around the centre. Now, as you can see from the map I've given you, we're sitting in our cafe, which we hope will be a favourite place to visit after exercising. To one side of us and right in front of you as you enter the complex is the shop. Be sure to have a look in there later as we've got some great opening specials on footwear. On the other side of the cafe, and ideally situated between the cafe and the childminding facilities, we have the playground. You can sit and relax there while your kids have a great time on the equipment. And our childcare facilities are available to anyone using the centre. Let's talk a little bit about our heated swimming pool, which is also near the entrance, on the other side from the cafe. It has a 5-metre water slide, which will be very popular with kids of all ages, and in the corner, nearest the changing rooms, we have a high-tech hot spa. The water is heated to 38 degrees centigrade, which is the ideal temperature to relax tired muscles after a workout. So, where can you do these workouts? Well, we have a large weights room located at the cafe end of the administration block. In the weights room, you'll find all the latest equipment. We also have trainers there who can put a program together for you. Another place to get a good workout is in the gym, which is shown on the map to the right of the changing rooms. There will be all sorts of classes offered there. Our aim is to provide all your exercise and recovery needs. So, as well as the spa to help aching bodies, we also have a special area for massage. It's in the funny-shaped room close to the administration area. Its distinctive shape has already led to the nickname of the Bullet Room. We'll be offering Swedish and Chinese massage there, and we'll offer physiotherapy in the future.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20 on page 5. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
Now, let me tell you something about our different memberships. Firstly, we offer different types of membership to cater for different needs. If you are a fitness freak, then choose our all-in membership. This gives you access to everything in the centre, all the classes and sports. It's usually our most expensive option, but for a short time, we're offering 12 months for the price of 9, which is a huge saving. If you prefer just the gym classes, you may want to consider the gym and weights package. It works out at $10 a week, which is good value. If you just want to swim, then we recommend getting a Swim Plus membership. With this, you have unlimited use of the pool and spa. The other package we've reduced for this month only is the off-peak. This is aimed at people who are happy to come at less busy times. And finally, we have the family pack. We believe in keeping the whole family fit and healthy, so this package works out cheaper than buying it separately. Your flyer has details of all the prices. So, anyone who signs up for a new membership tonight will receive 2 fantastic presents from us. We wanted to make these rewards something different from the norm. We could have just chosen a towel for you to use in the gym or some clothing from the shop, but we wanted to show our appreciation by giving you something special. So not only are we going to give you a voucher for a session in our massage centre, a great way to unwind after your workout, but you'll also get this great device that measures your heart rate. And finally, just for turning up tonight, we'd like to give everyone here a drink bottle to take away with them. That's all I wanted to say.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3 on page 6. Section 3. Following instructions from their tutor, you will hear 2 economics students called James and Anna discussing a recent survey about the cost of buying a house in New Zealand. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25 on page 6. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
OK, for this week's assignment, you're going to assess the value survey on house prices. What were the survey's findings? Was it a reliable survey? Work in pairs, discuss what you've read, and generate some ideas for the assignment.
All right. Shall we work together, Anna?
Sure, James. So, first, how did the value survey actually measure the cost of houses? Because there are lots of ways of calculating it.
Well, it looked at all houses, didn't it? New and old. So it started with average incomes across the whole workforce and then worked out house prices in relation to that. I mean, to what people were earning.
So it's about affordability, what people pay in real terms. But there's no information about the size of a house a typical family can buy.
No, that's a limitation. OK, then in the assignment we should give some background. I mean, what's different about the value survey?
Yeah, there's lots of these surveys every year. Value is actually one of the newer ones, but it stands out because it gives figures for a range of the largest urban centres, which none of the others do.
OK, good point. Then one finding was that New Zealand houses are relatively expensive. Why is that? Because most of them are built of wood, and that's quite cheap.
Yeah, it is. But the problem is there are too many regulations and restrictions about where you can build.
So if more building sites were created for housing, the costs would come down. That's it, isn't it? Because there are plenty of contractors ready to do the work.
Exactly. So, what else?
Well, what about transport? I mean, it's all very well to talk about new housing, but how are people going to get there? Is the survey proposing new roads, new rail networks? It should be a coordinated approach.
Yeah, but the survey didn't mention it. It's a missed opportunity because a commitment to funding public transport from the outset would improve air quality in our cities.
True. OK then, the next survey, what can we expect? It'll look at all the same places, right?
Exactly the same. But the next one will give an idea of the way prices are moving.
The government may have to think about how house prices are affecting society.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30 on page 7. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Then in the assignment, we need to evaluate how reliable the survey was. So we should look at some of the criticism made by commentators. OK, so there's the economist Andrew Coleman. He actually questioned whether the survey was money well spent, because it only looked at a single year in isolation.
A year when it was difficult to borrow money to buy a house, pushing up costs. So he thought the survey should consider a longer time frame. Did you get that article by Professor Massey? Because he's the leading authority on this topic.
Yeah, interesting. He realised the method used to calculate how much money people had didn't take savings into account. So actually, people looking for a house were richer than the survey shows, making houses cheaper in real terms.
All right. Then Richard Bernard, his criticism was original. He found out they were using quite outdated software to process all the information they gathered, which was crazy because they actually had the money available for an upgrade. So even though it was a highly regarded team of people, the way the statistics were interpreted was open to question.
OK, then Professor Lowndes. He thought the report was just badly written.
That's right. After all the work that went into gathering valid information, the finished report was just too long and weakly structured, and there was too much unnecessary detail.
And the last one, Maria Darling. She made a point about the properties that were evaluated.
There weren't enough of them, you mean?
No, it wasn't that. But they were never identified for privacy reasons. But she thought the actual properties used should have been revealed, you know. The process should have been transparent if the people are going to have full confidence in the survey.
Right. So a lot of criticism.
Yeah, But this sort of research is often controversial.
That is the end of Section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to Section 4 on page 8. Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture for teacher trainees on using drama activities in the classroom. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40 on page 8. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
So now we're going to look at some of the reasons why it's beneficial to include drama activities, such as role play, in your teaching practice in a range of subject areas. There's a lot of evidence to show that drama helps a child's personal development. Firstly, creating the space for children to express themselves freely in a group situation helps to give them confidence in their own opinions and ideas. And, of course, drama activities can work especially well for shy or introverted children who usually don't participate in other types of classroom situations. Secondly, unscripted improvisation activities where children work from their imagination, if done in a supportive way, give children the opportunity to gain experience in taking risks and encourage them to say things that they might normally be afraid to say. Drama can also support the child's educational development. For example, the emphasis placed on cooperative activities in drama means that group members must learn the value of listening to one another. Being involved in any sort of performance which relies on everyone working together and playing their part also helps children to be responsible, not only for their learning, but for their general behavior. These are just a couple of ways in which drama can benefit a child's learning. Now I'd like to look at how role play can be such a valuable learning tool in the classroom. The value of role play for children who are having difficulties as a means of therapy is now widely accepted. The experience of doing a role play where children act out aspects of their own life without explicitly stating that it is a direct representation of their own experiences can help children to judge their own behavior in an objective way. One obvious example would be doing a role reversal with a bully role-playing a victim. Because this approach doesn't involve direct confrontation, it may help the bully to see his or her behavior in a different light. More generally, role play also allows the teacher to explore potentially controversial or taboo subjects in a safe setting in which children feel at ease. It's obviously essential for children to feel they won't be criticized or judged for voicing certain views. Getting children to examine their thoughts and opinions carefully can lead to a deeper self-knowledge and a stronger awareness of morality. This is an important factor in developing social skills. Let's look at a specific subject area now and think about how drama can enrich the learning process for the study of history. Bringing characters from the past to life in the classroom by doing classroom drama activities is an easy way to improve the level of the children's participation in the lesson. So, drama in the history classroom makes for a livelier atmosphere, but getting children to reenact scenes from history can also be extremely useful, as it helps them to remember what happened and why it was important, as well as helping to bring the past alive. Another way of doing this is to ask children to find solutions to historical problems using role play. This can help to focus attention on why certain decisions were taken. For example, children can be asked to decide how best to defend their town from attack or where to build a new settlement. Okay, what I'd like to do now is to think about your next teaching practice session and in groups discuss how you would incorporate an element of drama into your lesson plan.
That is the end of Section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.